As a child, Midorya was a brave soul who stood for the rights of others. Due to his quirkless nature, he would get constantly bullied and harassed. Midorya was an innocent kid who used to love superheroes and wanted to be one. He used to document their skills and study their patterns. One day, his entire world crumbled when the doctor informed him of his cruel fate. Midorya kept asking his mother if he would ever be like All Might. His anger and sadness turned to motivation and inspiration. Observing Midoriya's dedication, the universe arranged a meeting between him and his idol. He hanged on to dear life and refused to let go. After witnessing All Might's transformation, the truth was revealed to him. All Might took this chance to bestow his quirk one for all to young Midorya, a power passed down to him from previous users. However, there were no free lunches and Midorya had to work to the bone to earn it. He built his muscles and strengthened his endurance. He felt as if he conquered the world and reached the peak. Feeling confident and ready, he entered a contest to determine worthy candidates. When the opportunity arose, he leaped into the air and used his newfound quirk to demolish the gigantic obstacle. As a result, he devastated his right arm since he was not ready. Luckily for him, Recovery Girl was on the scene to heal his wound in an instant. A few days had passed before he finally received a letter of acceptance. The young boy's destiny was approved by the higher powers. This was it! Even so, things were going to be even harder from here. Aizawa demonstrated this when he belittled him and mocked his dangerous powers. Midorya took Aizawa's warning to heart and started using physical techniques instead of relying on his quirk. Regardless, he had to use his quirk against Bakugo, increasing the damage tally to his body and increasing All Might's concern. His first real challenge came when the League of Villains and Shigaraki invaded. He watched on desperately as his mentor was aging and losing his previous impact. After the ordeal, Midorya took his training to another level. He showcased his intelligence when he outsmarted Bakugo and Todoroki during the race. He even went to the lengths of besmirching their authority and using them as human trampolines. He experienced his hardest fight yet when he fought Todoroki one-on-one. They went at it like embittered rivals, going all out, destroying their body, conjuring their full potential, and smashing the arena to pieces. He then went to Gran Torino for further counsel, who was All Might's mentor. After being beaten and pinned down by Gran Torino, Midorya found his groove. He was able to control his powers without bursting or breaking his body. He managed to show it off against the fight with Stain. His punches no longer damaged his body, and his movements became agile, jolting through and jumping around. All Might explained to him how his powers were unlimited. If Deku believes in himself, he can even stop All Might in his tracks. Not long after Midorya got the hang of his new ability, the first life-threatening battle came his way. The villains attacked the forest they were training in, and Muscular trapped Deku alone on a hill. Every punch Midorya threw was blocked and swallowed. Just as he was about to lose, Deku unlocked the full potential of One for All. As with his previous debacles, his injuries grew severe and his body couldn't keep up. Regardless, All Might never lost hope and officially declared him the next greatest hero. A kid who was once lost and neglected received the torch which was passed down. Tears of joy mixed with lament kept pouring down Deku's eyes. He had to put on his game face, for what was to come would change the course of history. He had successfully earned his provisional hero license. He had almost lost it during the free-for-all battle when he was restrained. Deku did not lead an easy life, and his childhood rival made it even harder. Bakugo's insecurity forced him to lash out on Midorya, who refused to back down, and proved his worth by giving Bakugo a run for his money. Unfortunately for both of them, the aftermath of their fight was met with an angry Aizawa and a strict reprimand. His next opponent was the star of UA, Mirio Togata, also known as Lemillion. As fast as Deku was, he couldn't even lay a finger on him. After their battle, Mirio acknowledged Midorya and took him to see the boss. Night-Eye ran his own agency and after preliminary assessment, failed Midorya without hesitation. Deku refused to take no for an answer and charged at Night-Eye to prove him wrong. Same old story, same old dance. Night-Eye's quirk allowed him to foresee the future and adjust accordingly. Deku kept jumping around like a grasshopper on steroids, but couldn't even touch Night-Eye. However, his tenacity did not go unnoticed. Night-Eye gave him a chance and let him stroll the street with Lemillion, where they encountered a sobbing little girl and a sinister-looking man. They let her go and debriefed Night-Eye of what they saw. After coming to the conclusion that the man was the wanted villain Overhaul and that the girl was held hostage, they prepared a plan and invaded his turf unannounced, where they were met with fierce opposition. During the confusion, Deku saved Eri and held her close. His battle with Overhaul raged on, and he managed to use his full powers without repercussion because of Eri's quirk, Reverse. Since Eri was used in the production of a drug which removed quirks, Overhaul was not willing to let her go with the heroes unscathed. Deku went beast mode and showed the first glimpse of his demonic potential, thereby ending the illegal operation and imprisoning Overhaul for good. Things didn't go as the heroes expected, and Lemillion ended up losing his quirk, but he was determined to keep on fighting and protecting Eri alongside Deku. As the villains lost their livelihood, so did the heroes lose one of their best, Night Eye, who was severely hurt and ended up losing his life in the hospital. Midorya took a break from hero work and engaged in school activities for a while. He ordered an outfit and gear that can handle his quirk and siphon his powers by concentrating them. While he was chilling and getting some groceries, trouble came knocking. He met Elastic Man on the streets and had to deal with him. Everything was going well for Midorya until he suddenly snapped in a friendly game. The first emergence of his Black Whip, a quirk he inherited from the 7th user. After a brief discussion with the previous user, Deku got the hang of it. Feeling he was ready to take on a larger task, he went to intern at Endeavor's agency along with Bakugo and Todoroki. After days of grueling training, Deku mastered his Black Whip and gained full control, safely handling all the cars with ease and rescuing the citizens. Not long after that, the heroes launched a huge raid on the new Liberation Front Empire. Things went sideways when Shigaraki awakened with an agenda to capture and steal Deku's quirk. Fearing the worst, Gran Torino took them to a secluded area and informed them of the dire situation. He told them to stay put, but Midorya wasn't one to listen to advice and headed into battle with a headbutt. Together with Endeavor, they cornered Shigaraki and didn't give him any breathing space. In order to prevent his decay, Midorya took him to the air and took out his rage on Shigaraki. He used everything within his arsenal to decimate Shigaraki, even at the cost of his own body and sanity. Just when Deku thought he had Shigaraki where he wanted him, All for One's power activated and threatened to kill Deku, but was saved by Bakugo at the last minute. It was then that his demonic form made a second appearance. Deku's infamous beast mode was activated, even more terrible and scarier. But he was no match for All for One, who attempted to steal his quirk right away. Fortunately for Deku, the previous user, in addition to the original user, had his back and fended off All for One's attempt. Afterwards, they both completely depleted their energy and fell to the ground. Deku was swooped up by Todoroki since he was no longer able to move. He watched on helplessly as the entire team tried to stop Gigantomachia. He suddenly awakened a new quirk, which allowed him to sense danger, which came with an instant sharp headache. As Shigaraki was trying to flee the scene of the battle, Deku mustered all of his remaining energy and went plus ultra to stop him. However, he had exhausted his tank completely and was easily blown away. Out of all the injuries he sustained to date, this one was far worse and left him in a coma. He was able to communicate with the previous users inside a different dimension, where they revealed the secrets of All for One and examined his courage. Once he recovered, Deku informed his classmates that he will no longer be able to fight alongside them, as not to put them in any more danger. In order to keep them and everyone safe, he went solo and started hunting the villains who escaped one by one. A new era had arrived, and the world's greatest hero was reborn.